Good afternoon. I hope you guys have been enjoying the discussion that we've been having on Facebook as we go through this book, Worship Matters by Bob Kauflin. We've already done, I hope you've done, we've already read chapters 1 through 3. They're pretty short. The chapter that I'm kind of asking you guys to look at this coming week, I guess between here and next Thursday, is the chapter on the hands. There was a composer by the name of Zoltan Kodaly. He was Hungarian, and he had this quote, and I would tell my piano students this all the time. A well-trained musician has 4 things. He has well-trained ears, a well-trained mind, a well-trained heart, and well-trained hands. This week we're talking about the hands. Personally, I think this is one of those things that typically tends to be a little divisive. I think people they put their guard up. They're like, now let me get this right. Why does it matter? And this sounds crazy for me to say this, but think about this now. How many times have you said this? I've said it to myself. Why does it matter how well I play? Or I'm at church. Why should I practice? Why is skill a big deal, right? But when you look at 1 Chronicles 25:7, and Bob Kauflin mentions this on page 35 of his book, he says we read in 1 Chronicles 25:7 that the musicians ministering at the tabernacle were those, quote, who were trained in singing to the Lord. They were trained, all who were skillful. So, I think the Bible kind of bears it out, even when we look at the tabernacle in the Old Testament. Skill was a big deal. It does matter what we do with our hands, but there are other areas of skill, and Bob Kauflin brings this out in the chapter. There's leadership skill that can be developed, musical skill that can be developed, communication skill, being able to handle technology. Again, all these things that matter to us in a holistic way of what it means to be a worship leader, not just playing an instrument and singing, right? So it's more to it than that. I will give you a little bit of a kind of like the cliff notes. The main ideal of this chapter, I think, you can tell me after you read through it and just kind of respond to some of the questions. I think one of the things that Bob Kauflin brings out that's amazing is the reason why skill matters. The reason why it matters what I do, with my hands, is because if I get up and I'm not skillful and I'm not prepared and it's not musically clear and compelling and concise, and I'm just kind of playing stuff or singing stuff or saying stuff, I haven't really thought through what I'm going to say or any of that, we don't have a good handle on the technology. Just imagine if we didn't have a good handle on ProPresenter, in the mornings, right? And some of you probably feel like we don't, but we do. But just imagine, right? What would happen? The congregation is like, I don't know what words to follow, what are we doing? And that's the point. It can be distracting when the skill is not there. And that's the main point that I think he makes in the chapter. The other thing that I like he says is we have to be careful to guard our hearts against idolatry. Because I think all of us probably fall into one or two camps. Either we think skill is really important and we have a tendency to make an idol out of it. I'm going to practice. Or we say, why do I have to practice at all? I guess I'm hoping maybe we can all kind of meet in the middle. Anyway, I just want to hear what you guys think about it. Respond to the questions, please. Please. I'm begging you to read this book. I think it will go a long way in your worship leading and in your walk with the Lord. Thanks. See you online.